We're live.
We're live already? That was quick.
Yeah, this one goes a little bit faster.
Okay. I was like, whoa, wait, what happened?
We're still figuring out all of our technology, video, audio recordings, software, everything.
All the weird stuff. It's doing weird stuff. I don't know,
Yeah.
but we made it. We're good. I'm happy we're here and we can talk about all of our bookish stuff.
Absolutely. And so this is
Yes.
episode 2 of season 2 of Bookish Buzz. So that's really exciting.
That is still wild. Episode 2, season 2. I
Yep.
don't know. I feel like this is never going to really hit me like we're actually doing this.
I don't know, maybe one day we'll be saying episode 20 and it still won't feel any different.
That would be awesome. Hey, we might hit episode 20 if we keep going the way we're going. You never know.
Yeah, the way things are going, 2 a month, we could hit 20.
I totally think we can.
Let's start with episode 2. See how
All
we do.
right. I'll take it. So what's on our agenda today?
We titled this episode Fall Vibes Only. So it is fall time. So it's time to, figure out, get into that mood. Fall is probably one of the only seasons I think that really has like a strong mood. Summer reads are really just like reads you do something somewhere. But
like
fall,
beachy reads.
yeah, fall is a feeling in your soul. And we've divided ourselves into 2 teams. What team are you on?
Dun, 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 Team Cozy.
Yes, and I am team spooky. It is the spooky season for me.
No, this is totally cozy, chunky book season for me.
Now, I got chunky books too, but my chunky books have a darker tone.
No dark here. No. All things light.
We gotta have.
Just not fluffy.
You gotta have.
I can't do
both sides
fluffy.
of that coin.
Definitely no fluff.
Still trying to figure out what fluffy is for you, because cozy and fluffy mean the same thing to me. No, not to you.
No. Fluffy is like, I think of it as the romance books with the cartoon characters and stuff on it. To me, that's fluffy. I can't do that.
But that's just the cover. What is the book like? Is it like Hallmarky?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like the Hallmarky.
Always positive, everything.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And like the fake dating, I do not like the fake dating trope. I don't like it. I don't know why. The fake dating, the fluffiness. I do like Lifetime movies though. Give me the Lifetime movie.
But just not books.
Well, Lifetime movies aren't like, I don't know.
Those are dramatized ones.
Yeah, they're the dramatized ones, and they're the good ones.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out how your brain works.
I don't know how it's working today.
Because you've definitely called some books fluffy that were not fluffy. So
I have definitely come across a fluffy book, and I don't like it.
Fair.
I did not like the Megan Quinn one. The not so meet cute something. I didn't like that one. That was fluffy to me.
But how can you have a book that's fluffy that's not romance?
Well, maybe I don't like romance books.
Well, I don't know that that's true. I think you don't like contemporary romances. I think that's the best way to put it.
Well, what are contemporary romances?
Those are your modern day. This girl comes back to a small town, like just like regular Hallmark-esque romance.
Oh, so
books.
like Pumpkin Spice Cafe.
See, but Pumpkin Spice Cafe has some fantasy to it. So no, not.
I did
not
like Pumpkin Spice Cafe, but I did like the cinnamon bun one. I did like the cinnamon bun one.
There are 50 other of them coming out.
Yeah, there's another one that just came out. Was that the gingerbread? I think that was a gingerbread bakery. There was a strawberry patch, and then I think there's a gingerbread.
There's a series that one of my booktube friends, Kayla over at Books and Lala, she reads because the series is set in her hometown in Canada of Kelowna, and it's A to Z. So the first book is like something in the azaleas, and then the next book has a B flower in it, and then the next book has a C flower in it, and there are 26 of them, and they're terrible. But she read like 5 of them.
That sounds like it would be terrible.
And it's got to be hard to say like how bad and predictable they were. and knowing that you are the #1 booktuber in Canada and likely they've heard of you because you're from the same town, and to just like accidentally bump into each other, that would be crazy.
That would be.
But all right, let's get into really what does cozy mean for Ashley? What kind of books that you're looking to read in this cozy atmosphere?
For me, for my fall vibes only, I am looking more for those comfy, cozy, magical, witchy type of books. Definitely chunky book season for me. I have some of those that I'll be knocking out, but those are definitely the ones that I'm feeling.
So you're looking for books that are cozy and comfy in content, but also when you're cozy and comfy and just want to settle up with a big, thick book.
Yes, exactly. Like it's something for me where I love for like the fallish kind of thing, but I'm thinking more so of like the witchy stuff or the magical stuff, kind of thing.
Okay.
hmm
No, that makes
What
sense.
about you?
Spooky all the way. I like them dark. So horror, horror adjacent, but also like dark fantasy and just like
hmm
really thrillers, mysteries that are really dark and atmospheric and really get you like get your hair to stand up on end and really you're in the book in that moment, emotionally connected and scared sometimes.
I don't want to read a book that scares me. That doesn't. That's not what I'm looking for in a book. I couldn't do it.
Looking ahead at my books, I don't know that any of them are going to scare me. I haven't been scared by a book
hmm
unless I can manage to get myself in a true atmosphere. I read a book called Stolen Tongues, which was it was a dark horror book where I was reading it while in the woods and it was set in the woods. So I definitely was able to use the atmosphere around me to freak myself out because it's that feeling
Yeah,
of
no.
if you're like walking and maybe you just have a moment where you think somebody's watching you or you feel like somebody's watching you, but then your mind can take that and really just like duplicate it and intensify it to where you can actually like feel like they're coming out. They're right behind you and you'll freak yourself out.
No, can't do it.
It's my
No.
favorite kind.
I would be terrified.
I love a scary book. Like turn off all the light.
The scariest book for me would have had to be, I think I'd say Hidden Pictures.
Okay.
I
That
would
one
say
was
that was just about as spooky as I could get.
there are some spooky elements and it's definitely intense. And so that
hmm
level of intensity is really what was probably working against you the most. But it does have some really creepy imagery.
That, even listening to it, the tone, everything of it was just like, ah. But it actually turned out to be a good book. So I will say that I can read the slightly spooky stuff, but not Caleb's spooky.
I have some recommendations that we're going to talk about on another episode, probably in October, where we'll have
hmm
something where I'm going to try and get you to read something that's spooky adjacent. It's not Caleb level of spooky, but I think I can find you a book that I think you'll enjoy that will be horror-esque.
I'm just now reading Miss Thorne. I want to put that on the record.
I know, but you are going to actually follow through on this one. This isn't tomorrow and
So we'll
tomorrow and
see.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that was, oh my goodness.
I'm still mad at you for that. That counts as your DNF for the buddy challenge. You can't do any more.
Yes.
You
Okay,
can't
I'll take
DNF
that.
any of the book club
Well,
DNFs.
I shouldn't have, maybe you shouldn't have rated it because if I didn't see your
Yeah,
rating, then I would have read it.
it did
That was
upset me.
brutal. It was what? I think you gave it a 2?
I think I gave it 2 or 2.5. I was really, really disappointed.
Yeah, no, see, if you rate something that low, that means I'm not supposed to read it.
I think that was the first book I ever got from Book of the Month from the free, you get the Book of the Year as a Book of the Month member. And
hmm
that was the Book of the Year from them. And I was so excited. And I just never read it for years.
How can I don't understand how some of these books are book of the year and things like that. I want to know what they're really putting it up against because I don't know.
We had God of the Woods that won last year. And
hmm
we had mixed reviews on that, but I wouldn't say that that was a bad book in my opinion. It just wasn't book of the year. worthy, and so that's what kind of confused me. I
I
think
would
it's
say
because
maybe like All Colors of the Dark. That would be like a book of the year kind of thing. I thought that one was really good.
see, I don't even know if that was a book of the month.
I feel like it was. If it's not, maybe it was an add-on. Maybe it was an add-on.
Yeah, that's very possible. My
Okay.
book of the month, I always get weird selections. I feel like I don't get the same books as everybody else.
But we've been getting the same ones lately.
We have, for the most
Mm-hmm.
part. Well, at least we've been picking the same ones. I don't know
We'll
if our
have to
whole
compare the
list was
next round. I'm
yes.
interested to see what they're going to have for October because
They better have some spooky ones.
the last few months have been. I skipped a
I
few of them as well too.
I think we got last month, not this month. So we got August. We didn't get
Mm-hmm.
September.
I did get September. I did not get August. So for September, I ended up getting To the Moon and Back, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called.
It was some, I think that's what it was that I picked. But I only did it because I wanted a hat. Yep, yep, I wanted the hat. And it's still delayed. It said it was supposed to be here this weekend, and now it
You had
says
the
like the
worst luck with
18th.
that.
I don't know. If I don't order it like right when it comes out, I have to wait for like ever to get my book.
My Aardvark book took a while. I did get my Aardvark book this month,
Okay.
which I got a horror book called Coffin Moon. It's like a really unique vampire story that is different from anything else I've read. So it's kind of a vampire thriller kind of thing. So
Okay.
I'm excited for that. But yeah, I got that, and the previous month I didn't get anything from them. It's just been
Do
kind
you
of
have a Do you have a good record with getting vampire books?
I don't.
Because you didn't like the last vampire book, and I don't think you liked the other one too.
I didn't love the last vampire book, which was Bury Our Bones in the Midnight
Mm-hmm.
Soil, and
Mm-hmm.
that's because of other things. It didn't have anything to do with the vampires.
Okay.
My previous vampire book, which will make an appearance here shortly, was Buffalo Hunter Hunter, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get through it. I soft DNF'd that one, and so I think I'm
Okay.
gonna start over because I'm like 40% in, but I'm gonna start
Oh.
over
So kind of
because I
how I
think I need
was
to
with
get through.
Immortal Dark. I said that I want to read that one for October. I'm gonna pick that one back up again. She's got book 2 coming out. I feel like in 2 months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I said I'm gonna pick that one back up.
Very interesting. Well, I think now is
Mm-hmm.
the best time to get into the books that are going to match our vibes.
Yeah.
So I'll let you start. Cozy,
Mm-hmm.
comfy, chunky. Let it go.
First one. I'm gonna finish The Hunger Games. I am currently on Mockingjay, which is the third book. So I look to have that one actually finished this week. And I want to read the Sunrise on the Reaping and the Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. So I'm
Yep.
going to finish all of those. To me, those are like kind of fallish, but also kind of summery. I didn't get to finish them. I wanted to finish them in, was it September? I didn't get to
Hmm.
finish them. So I will, though. It is September, August.
Yeah, it is September.
I wanted to do that for August. All over the place. But the next one that I have on my radar for Team Cozy, I gotta say Harry Potter. I mean, everything about Harry Potter is just all things fall.
I
Don't you
mean,
think?
you've never. No, I'll say this. I know you read the first and second Harry Potter books because we were in the same English class in fifth grade, and I know she read that book to us.
I did not. Or maybe I didn't pay attention because I definitely did not read Harry Potter. I tried
I
to read it on my own forever ago. So I have the book, and it's like the original
yeah.
first edition of the book, right? And I don't know if it's first or second. I don't know, but it's super old, right? This book, I remember getting to the part where he was like stuck in this closet or he was living in the closet, and I couldn't get past the part that he was living in a closet. So I just
That's
put the
the
book
beginning.
down. I know, that's as far as I got. And then
Oh my
like
gosh.
that's as far as I got. And I've never picked it up since. But now I am playing Hogwarts Legacy and I'm, getting more into this bookish realm of things. So I want to know more about Harry Potter.
So your goal for the fall? Are you going to try and get through the first X amount of books, or what are you hoping to do?
Well, first, I want to get through Hunger Games. So that is something that I plan to chip away a book a week, maybe if I can. As far as for Harry Potter, I know for sure I'm going to start at the end of this month because those books, a couple of them are a little chunky. So I said I'm going to read those through the month of October. Definitely
Okay.
October, I'm looking more so for the Harry Potter. All right, so we have Discovery of Witches, which is by Deborah Harkness, and Wayward by Emilia Hart. Those definitely, I mean, they're all about witches. You can't have fall and not have witches. So I do plan on reading those.
Yeah, I read Wayward, and it was a
Hmm.
generational witch story, which I enjoyed. And we
Hmm.
already talked about A Discovery of Witches. I'm interested to see what you think about the book. I've only watched the show.
And see, I think that's what kind of pulled me is the fact that there is a show. I'm in this kind of error vibe thing where I want to watch something and read or read and then watch. I don't know. It just makes it come to life or something. It's just kind of cool. October, I want to try Fairy Tale by Stephen King.
I mean, interesting. I didn't expect that one out of left field. Stephen King, obviously, normally on my side of the fence.
Uh-huh.
However, Fairy Tale isn't a traditional horror book. It is a fantasy novel.
Yes, and that's why I want to read it because Stephen King doing fantasy, I think that would be very interesting. So I think it was last summer when it came out, the cover just really grabbed my attention. So I was like, I'm going to try and listen to it. But while I was listening to it, there was a lot of F bombs in the beginning. And when I was driving, I had Hammy with me. I was like, yeah, no, I can't listen to this. So I turned
That's fair.
and I haven't picked it up since, but I said definitely that is one that I am interested in getting in. The next one, this one's on my list for September. I really need to read this Roots of Chaos series. Not the whole series, but maybe at least a book or two, because those books are huge. But
They are
Priory of the
very.
Orange Tree, A Day of Fallen Night, and she's got her new one coming out this Tuesday, Among the Burning Flowers. So I've been
Oh,
researching. Yeah, I've been researching, and she says that the other two books, The Priory and Day of Fallen Night, are much larger books. But she says if you're intimidated by the bigger books, to pick up, Among the Burning Flowers because you can read them in any order, which I thought was really cool. I thought you had to read Priory and then Day of Fallen Night in this one. She's like, no,
well, I
you can
actually
read them
thought
anyway.
Day of Fallen Night was the prequel to
Mm-hmm.
Priory.
It is. And she actually said you can read them in any order. So I'm like, hey, maybe I'll
Okay.
try Among the Burning Flowers, see what that's like. And if I like it, jump into, one of the other two books and make the commitment.
Okay. Well, that's an
Mm-hmm.
interesting take on it.
Yeah.
We own the first two. I actually can see
Mm-hmm.
the second one, which is actually the
Those,
prequel,
they are gorgeous. Those books
but
are gorgeous. I do have both
she's
of them.
never read them. So I bought them for a
Mm-hmm.
birthday one year, and then I think I bought the sequel for the birthday the next year. They haven't been
Okay.
read yet.
They're intimidating. I mean, that's a lot of pages. That's a commitment right there. But I
I
like the
mean,
fact that it has dragons. I love me some dragons.
I'm confused by that. What
Why?
book have you read besides Fourth Wing that have dragons?
Fourth Wing.
I was curious. I'm like, I
I
don't know. You
read.
seem to love dragons, but I don't know that you've experienced like a fantasy novel. You've experienced a romantasy novel,
I
but
don't know, but
interesting.
I've always liked dragons though. Even if
I
it's
mean, that's
not
cool.
within like the book world, I've always liked dragons.
I have
So why not try it?
I have my own obsession, and my obsession is less cool than yours. My obsession was with doors, so I love a door.
No,
Just
that's
give me a door,
actually
and
a pretty cool one. That actually is a pretty cool one, and I've got quite a few books about doors too. So
I do love doors.
I can agree with the doors. It's just something about opening a door and going to wherever that door may lead. How did you not read Meet Me at the Crossroads?
Why? Do you need to know why? I'm pretty sure I know why I didn't read it.
Why?
I don't think you liked it. So why would I pick it up? That's my tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. You didn't rate it
Okay,
very
that's
high,
fair.
so I didn't read it.
That's very fair. It wasn't a bad story. I just wanted more about the doors. And I think that's the part that made me not so much love it because I wanted more doors and less life discovery type of thing and coming of
Okay.
age. So it was more coming of age than it was with the actual doors.
Okay. Well, maybe the ratings will start rebounding and it'll end up back on my radar and I'll pick it up.
We'll see.
What else you got?
I have another one that's soon to come out. Our Vicious Oaths by N.E. Davenport. It comes out on October 28th, so you know I have to read it. I've
I've
never
not
read anything
heard of
by
this one.
N.E. Davenport before, but I did get the arc through NetGalley.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know what? I've never read anything by N.E. Davenport, and I've heard absolutely nothing but good things, even through
Okay.
Goodreads. So I'm like, okay, I have to give this one a try. So I will be reading that one hopefully starting at the beginning of October so that I can have all my stuff rated, put it out there and all that good stuff by release date. And then I only have two others left. I have Broken Country, Claire Leslie Hall. I've heard it's like a mystery, kind of like thriller type of book, but not a Caleb spooky
Okay.
kind of thing. Not
Okay.
not a spooky kind of thing, but it definitely has been on my radar for a few months, and I'm like, you know what? This can still be read in the fall. Hopefully, I read this one within the next week. And then, last but not least, I gotta read the Poppy War.
Wow.
That is definitely something on my radar for fall for me. I mean, I've heard great things. We said we would maybe tackle book one together. I don't know. Not
Yeah,
sure
I
if
do
you're
want to read
still
it.
in Poppy War, but I've heard great things and I am interested.
It'll probably need to be a point where like a January kind of read where I've got a little more time to sit and just read a book
Mm-hmm.
because of how R.F. Kuang writes.
Mm.
It's so heavily written, at least in the one book I've read, and then we own Babbel, and I've checked parts of that out. It is high prose.
Okay.
It's not poetic, it's not lyrical, but it
Mm-hmm.
is really high. Like she makes me feel dumb, but I always have a good time.
I've heard she is a great writer, and I do have Babel on my list, but I said I'll have Babel for like maybe beginning of the year. Winter, I feel like that one might be more of a winter read, but Poppy War, something about it, it just screams fall to me.
I am definitely more excited about Poppy War and that whole series than I am about Babbel, as I had just
Mm-hmm.
read Calabasas, and
Yes, you did.
I liked it. I really did. I really enjoyed the book, but it was hard to read. It was just so heavily written, and you know, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a smart guy all the time. So sometimes I want to escape from using my brain, and that wasn't it. RF Kwong was
Yeah,
making me use it on every word.
and I've heard that too as well.
You have a lot of witchy books, which you've got
Mm-hmm.
magic and you've got this and you got the other. Which one's the one you think is going to be your favorite? I think it's going to be Harry Potter.
That's a really good question. So out of all of them, I think I'm gonna have to say Artfish is old.
Okay. That's interesting. We'll have to
I
see.
think I'm looking forward to that one. I I think I'm looking forward to that one more. Just reading the synopsis or whatever of the book. I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I'm seeing all the tears with Hunger Games and Harry Potter, and I'm just like all the feels and emotion. I think A Little Life kind of pulled me away from those emotional reads, but
Well, the first couple
we
books
will
of Harry
see.
Potter don't get there, so you got a ways to go.
Okay. Okay. And then I can always, like, hey, I'm on book so and so and, use you. So
Yes, I'll let you know when it's going to get real rough.
please,
But yeah, so those are Team Cozy. Let's
Team
see.
Cozy.
I think I'm going to have more people on my team this time because people love
No,
a spooky season.
I have some as Ham would say, some bangers. I feel like these are bangers.
We'll just have to see. So my books, starting, I kind of categorize my stuff as that's just who I am as a person. I'm just going
Mm-hmm.
to start with the straight up horror books. These books range from your traditional horror. There's some sci-fi tinged horror. And then there's these kind of genre bending horror ones that I just can't wait to check out. All of these authors are repeats for me. So the first book, as I mentioned earlier, was Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I have a love-hate relationship with Stephen Graham Jones. I think he's an incredible author, but his books have you kind of confused for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of stumble around. Part of it is rich in Native American folklore, Native American language, things like that. This book in particular takes some getting used to because it is historical, and the way they speak is they call like two legs. Those are humans.
Too late.
Then they have, yeah, so like, he stands up and walks like two legs instead of saying
Oh.
like he walks like a human, or he is, I don't have the book in front of me, but they use other language like bighorns and things like that to talk about buffalo and things like that. So you really kind of got to be in it. And as an audio reader, I admitted my fault at the beginning. Audio's not it. I can't be 3x speeding this one. I want to sit
Mm-hmm.
down with this thing at 1.5, 2 times with the book open and following along because I think I'll get more out of it that way. Softy and F from the summer when it came out. Actually, it might have came out in like March. Okay. I've had it since like day
I
one.
feel like it was way earlier. Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
remember you
I
were
think,
really hyped about getting that one.
and I think I've tried it several times. Like I said, I'm like 40% in, but I'm going to return. I'm going to start over and I'm going to give it because The Last Good Indians. And so that's more of a similar horror story where it's very much Native American centered. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
hallucinogenic kind of things about it and curses, and it's really good, but it's kind of layered. So you got to like peel things back to really see what he's saying when he's saying it. And then
Right.
I read the My Heart as a Chainsaw series, the Ghost of Indian Lake series, which was phenomenal. Every one of the books I was confused, and at the end I was like, masterpiece. By the end of it, things fall into place, and they are 3 different
Mm-hmm.
books. Each one of the books has a different, it follows the same character in the same town, new tragedy kind of thing. The first one is very focused on slashers. Jade is a different person in that first one, young, naive, blah 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 blah. Second book
Mm-hmm.
following Jade and a different period in Jade's life, mentally and emotionally and everything. Third book, I don't believe she's going by Jade in the third book anymore. It really brings home what the whole series is about. And if you can commit through it because it is a slow burn. It is slow. You have to be
I struggle with
invested.
the slower book. That is a
It's not one
struggle
I would
for me.
recommend to Ashley.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
There's too much nuance to it. I don't think that that's the kind of horror that you need.
Mm. No.
But for my true horror fans that really love a complex horror that has like social commentary, especially commentary on like a disparaged community like Native Americans, it's The Last Good Indians and My Heart is a Chainsaw is phenomenal. So I really want to give Buffalo Hunter Hunter the love it
A
needs
chance.
and just give it a chance. But if I end up DNFing again, it will be a true DNF.
We'll see. I'll be interested to hear more about it.
So am I. My next one it's a third book that I've read from this author. It's the new S.A. Barnes book called Cold Eternity. Now,
Ooh.
it's sci-fi horror. And she wrote Ghost Ship, and then she wrote, I'm trying to think of what the original one was. I can't remember. But those two are very much sci-fi horror on spaceships, abandoned spaceships. There's something there, something evil lurking. And it's not just your standard alien, there's a
Ooh.
lot of horror to it it's called Dead Space or
Okay.
Space. Maybe it's Dead Space. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. But it is so Dead Silence. There it is. I got it.
Okay. There you go.
Dead Silence was the first book. Loved it. Ghost Ship was the
Mm-hmm.
second book, and it was felt like the first book with just a little change. This
Mm-hmm.
one, the cover looks terrible, and I almost didn't pick it up because of it. It's very sci-fi channel, hokey looking. There's like an alien hand coming out of like a freeze cryo chamber. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to believe in S.A. Barnes because even when I didn't love Ghost Ship, I still thought it was like a 3.5, like a decent story. And I like space horror. So I'm going to give it another chance.
I totally just looked at this cover, and this is not
It's
anything
a
that I would grab.
terrible cover. It
It is
looks,
not anything that I would grab. It's got three fingers and the green body and the thing. Yeah, no. This,
it looks like a C budget horror film from the 80s. But
yeah, I would not. I definitely couldn't pick that one.
we'll see what Barnes can do on the inside of that because that's what really counts.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear more, but I won't be reading that.
So my next one is there's a theme here. I am
Mm-hmm.
chasing books that I've had really good experiences with, authors that I've had
Okay.
really good experiences with. SGJ, Stephen Graham Jones, S.A. Barnes. Here's another S for us, S.T. Gibson, who wrote
Okay.
A Dowry of Blood, which is my favorite horror vampire novel ever. It is a spin on Carmilla, which is the first love of Dracula. It has a
Okay.
Dracula a kind of attachment through what S.T. Gibson is able to do is take what you already know or think you know about Dracula and then build on that. So you kind of carry over the world building's already done for you because you know everything about Dracula, You know all the
Mm-hmm.
things of the sleeping in the coffin and the dirt and the wooden stake to the heart and all that stuff. And so here we enter a very visceral, poetic, beautiful story that is written, well, beautifully written story that follows three characters and across hundreds and hundreds of years. They're vampires, they're eternal, and I loved everything about it. And then the sequel came out, which wasn't meant to be a true sequel. It's just supposed to be connected, called An Education in Malice.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad. I hated it because the first book was so incredible. The second
Mm-hmm.
one was much more structured, less like poetry. It was very much a true narrative story, and I just did not enjoy it. So,
Okay.
strike one. Strike two was they had another series called The Invocation, I think it is. And
Okay. I'm actually
it's a
following,
magic.
like looking through Goodreads to see the covers of you.
The Invocation had, cool premise. I thought there was a lot that could be done here. I thought she had the ability to write this story, but it just came across with these terrible, pretentious characters. I didn't care about the magic because it just wasn't what I wanted. Invocation, you summon demons, and it just didn't go the way I wanted it to. It felt very lowbrow, and I just didn't love it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, strike two. Could this be strike three? The new book by S.T. Gibson is coming out in October on the 9th called Savage Blooms. And here's the
The
thing.
cover looks really interesting.
I'm not going to read what it's about. I don't want to know.
Don't read what it's about.
I can't possibly. I need to go into it blind because
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling and I don't want to go in there with any preconceived notion or hype it up in my mind. I don't do well when I hype up books. So I'm just going to give it the best shot it's got.
I will say that this one has its own, it's not a series, so it looks like it's its own series.
I actually
If I
think it's
can,
going to be a series.
it might be its own, but I noticed the ones that you mentioned before with the S.T. Gibson, they're like one set. So the Dowry of Blood is one set, the second one is a
Gotcha.
second set,
Yes.
and this one's a third set. So don't read it because I don't want you to read it. The
Yes.
synopsis or whatever. I want you to go in blind, but I do know that this is a separate series.
I need it to be more poetic because I think that's where she shines.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope. Here's hoping.
We'll
And
see.
then my last horror book is talk about somebody I've given tries. Nowhere Burning by Catriona Ward. The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward is one of my favorite mind-blowing novels because now a lot of people have read another book similar to it. If they read that book first, they're not going to love this one, but it twists, and by the end of
Mhm.
it, my jaw was on the ground, under the floor, underneath the like, I was so blown away by how well this one was done. Now, I will say that it does talk on multiple personalities and some other things that can get a bad rap, and they aren't represented very well in movies and TV and books and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But I really enjoyed that one. And then I read a book called Sundial, and I enjoyed it, but not as much. And then I got Little Eve, and that one was just really hard to get into. I actually haven't finished it. I have it downstairs. But this one, from what little bit I read, sounds like this is going to be more up my alley. And I think this will be the one to redeem my love for Catriona Ward. So, not going to read much into it, but it does also come out in
Mhm.
October 7th. And we'll see. We'll see if any of these books can cement anybody back into my favorites list for the horror genre.
So you're gonna have some exciting books coming out in October, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Our
Mhm.
November update is going to be filled with either excitement or disappointment. We'll see.
We shall see. I am interested in hearing more.
Section I have of my books is the horror related nonfiction. So I don't read a lot of nonfiction, as you know, but I
I'm
do
excited to
have a
hear this.
soft I have a soft spot for horror nonfiction because I try to figure out what draws me to horror and why I enjoy horror so much because, as you know, you don't like to be scared, and I'm
Mhm.
always seeking something nostalgic about my horror. So the first one is American Scary, and it came out earlier this year, and it is a history of horror from Salem to Stephen King and beyond by Jeremy Dauber. So it is just a bunch of kind of analysis on horror films, horror books, all of those things. And I don't know, I just enjoy reading about that. There was another series or book that I read or started several times called It Came from the Closet, and it was all about the relationship with queer peoples and queer stories and horror and how they overlapped and how, they were at times the only genre of anything, books, movies, all of that, that would even represent the queer community. And
Mhm.
oftentimes the queer community was used as a tool to, queer tragedy. They were always the first to die, or they always died in this horrific fashion. They could never have a happy ending, and how that's changed over the last several decades. So I enjoyed that. And then the next one is called Why I Love Horror: Essays on Horror Literature by Becky Siegel Spratford. This one I think is going to be the one I gravitate towards because it's trying to answer the question, why do I love horror?
Mhm.
Why do I love to be scared, shocked, disgusted, all of those things? I promise you it's not because I'm a sick, twisted individual. I don't enjoy those debased things. You know,
Mhm.
there's no true enjoyment out of that. But what I do like to read is those stories that just they tug on my heart, scare me, unsettle me, freak me out, make me think about the people in my life and how I would connect if I was that character. So I'm really looking forward to those.
Sound very spooky.
I think you could survive that one. I think you could survive reading about horror and not actually experiencing it.
Well, do they talk about like ghost stories and stuff in there or
I imagine they're going to talk about specific examples of stories.
Mhm.
So that are going to talk on this, like, yeah, why do people gravitate towards ghosts, slashers, demons, vampires, like those types of things.
Okay. Maybe. It's nonfiction. Not really
It's
the
nonfiction.
nonfiction I go for, but maybe. Maybe.
Count it as a win, okay?
Hey, you got
And
some
then
nonfiction on there, so I take it.
exactly, I read like 2 of those a year, so be
Mhm.
happy. So the last section I have is dark fantasy, and
Ooh.
I read The Devils by Joe Abercrombie earlier this year, which was dark fantasy that was horror tinged,
Mhm.
and I've been chasing that. Like, I did struggle with it for part of it. Some of the characters didn't feel as well fleshed out as I'd hoped, but I found 2 books, one that I didn't really consider dark fantasy until I read a article about it and realized, like, yes, this very much does land in the dark fantasy realm, and that's The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. It has a very bleak look on the world and the cycles that we go through. It's the Broken Earth trilogy, and essentially the Earth and humanity and everything gets rewritten over and over again. And that's true in very, very sad fashion, to way to think about it. But there's a magical element. There's other fantasy elements to it that N.K. Jemisin is known for writing. And so I'm really looking forward to that one. And I think that one's probably going to be at the top of my list for the books that are on here. I've just been looking forward to it for so long. And I think the 5th season is going to be the one.
That sounds like we need to do a buddy read on that one. I actually have that one on my list. I have that one on my list. Yes, I have had that one on my list.
But are you actually going to read it?
Yes, I would read it. I would totally read it.
Okay. You would totally read Mistborn as well.
Actually, I am on part 2 of Mistborn, thank you.
And I am proud of you. It only took 9 months.
That's okay. I'm a mood reader.
That's fine. But yeah, no, I do want to read that one. I think we could get down with that.
Okay.
But that's one of those where I already started it and have to go back and redo it because it's not one that you can do the audio with on high speed again. I think I need to sit and really
you got to read
dive into her writing.
So you let me know when you're going to start planning to read it, and then I will read it because you read much faster than I do. But yes, that is one we can do for a buddy read.
Okay, that works for me. And then the last one came up in that same article that I was reading about N.K. Jemisin, and it's called The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Bullman. And it was an interesting thing. I think it came out in 2021, and this author is known for writing pretty much dark, grim fantasy, which is as dark as it can get. And it's one of those that I'm like, you know what? Nope. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what other people thought about it. I don't want to know what people hated about it, loved about it. I want to go in blind. So I am going to go in completely blind on this one. I'm not reading anything about the synopsis. The name sounds cool enough to hook me. I liked the cover, so I'm going to be picking that up.
Sounds like a plan.
Those are my spooky reads. Now listen, Team Cozy, Team Spooky is not necessarily on the books that we've presented here today. But are you Team Cozy or are you Team Spooky? Do you like to sit and be scared out of your mind and have to watch a Disney movie at the end of the night? Or do you want to read a Disney movie?
Correction, because I don't read Disney movies. I can't read Disney movies. I can maybe watch them, but I can't read them.
That's funny. Yeah, so Team Cozy, Team Spooky. Which side are you on? All right. So now that we've split ourselves into two teams, like we always do on this podcast, we're going to talk about something we talked a little bit about, but we want to elaborate on books from the summer. We had plans, and then those plans got disrupted with life. And so we're carrying over some of these books or some of these hopefuls from summer into fall.
I don't know about you, but I definitely plan on reading these. I have to start. I think this book was actually on our list together. But Junie, did you have Junie on your list, or was that just an Ashley book?
It was just an Ashley book. However, I keep asking you about it because every time I see it, I think, did Ashley read that book? And you haven't yet.
My goodness, no, I have not read it yet. But it's Junie by Aaron Crosby Eckstein. I believe I said the last name correctly, but I am so very interested in reading this one. And I wanted to read it in June, but, you know, life kind of just gets you, and I didn't make it around to it. But I do plan on reading Junie sometime soon, even if it's not, you know, summer-ish anymore. But that one, I have just, everyone that I've talked to, even on like Book Talk, they're like, you got to read Junie. Junie is so good. I'm like, all right, awesome. So I have to read it. I will be reading, hopefully, to try and finish up The Covenant of Water. I did start it, but I was listening to it, and the book is so rich in culture. It's just very difficult to listen to. It's one of those books that you kind of just cozy up in a corner and just honestly just file through the pages, flip through them, because there's so much that goes on in that book, and it's just too hard to listen and keep up. And especially with the narrator's accent. It's very heavy. So you might read it and you're like, wait, what are they talking about? They talk about eating like their food on, I think it's like a plantain leaf or something like that. And they're talking about sticky rice and, it's very culture heavy. So I'm really excited to finish that. Let's see, what do I have next? I have Mad Honey. I started reading Mad Honey probably when I first started reading, like 2 years ago or so, just to get back into things. And Mad Honey actually has some history and mentionings of Oberlin in it. It was a very long time ago. I remember we were on Facebook and I was like, oh my goodness, it's so cool to pick up a book and just start reading about Oberlin. And I don't know why I never finished it. I think I was just more so just, excited about brand new books that I had purchased that I didn't read it. I was just kind of paging through them. When you get a new book, you kind of just page and you're looking at them. I was doing
Oh, I
that.
know.
And so that book is actually by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer Finley Bolin. Every book that I've read by Jodi Picoult is amazing. I don't know if you read any of her books, but Jodi
I have
Picoult
not.
is very good on books. Always has a good twist and turn in there that you weren't expecting. So I do look forward to reading that one. Hopefully, I also have only just two more on here. Tiffany D. Jackson, Blood in the Water. It just got released, I believe, maybe last month. It's more of a YA book, but from everything that I've heard about Tiffany D. Jackson is that her books don't read YA. So I'm.
No, they don't. Then for the most part,
Mhm.
there's a book called White Smoke that definitely the character definitely has. She's terrified of bugs, specifically bed bugs in that,
Okay.
and so she's constantly like, "Is that a bed bug? Is that a bed bug?" And like that felt a little young,
Okay.
but The Weight of Blood, which is I think the book that I want to get you to read
I had a feeling you were
for
going to
the
say that
horror.
because you keep telling me about The Weight of Blood.
I was waiting for you to introduce Tiffany D. Jackson into your list, and then
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I'm going to strike. I think you should read your book first,
Mm-hmm.
see if you dig it, because that is a horror book.
Mm-hmm.
It is horror genre, but it's YA. If you enjoyed that one and you felt like, hey, this one didn't freak me out too much, I kind of like this one. The Weight of the Blood, I think, or Weight of Blood is the one that I think could cement you as like, I could do some horror as long as it's written really well and it's done well.
Okay. So I did add that on here because I remember I think that's like the third time you kind of like softly mentioned it to me. So I will add that and we'll see what we do. And then also we
Okie doke.
have you actually read this one, but Pierce Brown Red Rising. I definitely want to read Red Rising.
I want you to read Red Rising as well. You've been sending me TikToks
Hmm.
and videos of stuff, people reading that, and I'm interested to see what you think. It is a very interesting book,
Okay.
to say the least. It has moments of brutality. There's definitely some, even though it's technically a YA book,
Hmm.
some of them are pretty dark.
I didn't know it was listed as a YA book. That's
I
even
think it's
more
listed as a
interesting.
YA book.
That's even more
Yeah, it is
interesting.
because it's over in the YA area at the library.
Okay. All
But it's
right.
one of those like, I mean, Hunger Games is technically a YA book.
Hunger Games is definitely, it doesn't feel like YA. When I think of YA, I think like cheesy, kind of like read. But I'm telling you, these Hunger Games to me is like I'm sitting down watching a movie. I can have some popcorn or some chips, a snack next to me and just keep going. I can't stop with them. I love it.
So yeah, YA doesn't always mean bad. It's usually the characters that ruin YA books, but Tiffany D. Jackson writes her characters pretty well.
Absolutely.
So that was your list, and I've got a small list too. For the most part, we didn't plan too heavy into the summer
Hmm.
hopefuls because we kind of knew what we were gonna get into. We're just busy folks, and we got kids and life, and so we
Yeah.
kind of knew we weren't going to get too far into it. But I started some things this year, and I really wanted to continue the pace that I was going,
Hmm.
and that would be my series that I have ongoing. I'm not a series person, but this year I was trying to turn over a new leaf and just like sticking through it. And I did really good with like Mistborn. Finished that first trilogy pretty quickly,
Hmm.
2 months maybe. Like I was on it. And then I started Stormlight for Brandon Sanderson, and they're big books.
Yeah, they
A
are.
1,000 page, 1,200, 1,300 page. I'm on book 4, and I just have 4 and 5 to finish out for this series, the Stormlight Archives Arc 1. And so I want to do that. I wanted to do it in the summer. I wanted to take June and July, or July and August, one of the two, and
Mhm.
just knock out a book a month. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Well,
Mhm.
I read Rhythm of War like 40 pages and then I stopped. And it was a little overwhelming. I think going from book to book to book,
Mhm.
I love the world, but it's such an achievement
Mhm.
to finish 1,000 page book over the course of a few weeks or a month.
Yeah.
And you can't just go into another commitment like that, because
Mm-mm.
you start all
You
over
gotta take a break.
with each book, where
Mhm.
the world building is still expanding,
Mhm.
and you got characters that you're carrying over, but then you got new characters, and you have to
Mhm.
set up the conflict for the next book, and then you've got to wait that 80% of the book to get the payoff, which is worth it every single time. But it's an
Mhm.
investment, each one of these books. So I will be trying to take the last 2 books out before winter really sets in. So realistically, I'm saying before the end of the year, because winter is kind of like that December, January, February. But
Mhm.
we're going to just say, hey, over the next few months, I'd like to finish Stormlight. And then the next series I'd like to continue in. I'm only setting 2 books on here because the books are easy to just like turn your brain off and just enjoy.
Mhm.
And that's the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. They're so silly and
Mhm. That's
stupid.
what I've heard. I've heard they are like that.
They're over the top and they're hilarious, but the audio, this is one of the books that like audio helps people. It's a accessibility thing, like, hey, I can listen to my stories and do this,
Mhm.
drive or clean the house or whatever. But this is one of the only things that I will say that this is 1,000 times better on audio, because it's full audio, hilarious characters, great voice work, special effects, sound effects. Like it's full immersion audio, and I love this series. So it is to be consumed on audio if you can.
Okay.
I have book 3 and book 4, the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook and the Gates of the Feral Gods. And they sound as crazy as they are. They're over the top. And I've set up the premise before, but if you don't know anything about Dungeon Crawler Carl, go check out book 1. I promise you, if you go into it with an open enough mind, even if you go into it thinking this is going to be stupid, I bet you have a good time.
I actually was just looking that up to see if I could find it, but it looks like it's only through Audible.
They are, or you can go directly to Sound Booth Theater,
Okay.
which is the production company that does it. I think you can purchase directly through them.
Okay. Because I see that it's only on Audible.
Unfortunately, yes, but I bought the whole series when
Okay.
before I started having my little fight with Audible. So,
I got you.
yeah. And then the last 2 books are books that actually I'm cheating, and I'm carrying over from way earlier in the year, because you read both of these books,
I
and
did. And I
I
love
was
them.
excited for them. Emily read When the Moon Hatched. I don't remember if she read Water Moon, but I was so excited for both these books. I bought
Mhm.
When the Moon Hatched because the cover's so gorgeous.
It is. It's beautiful.
And Water Moon has that, Japanese healing literature kind of
Mhm.
feel to it, with a little bit of romance, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of magical realism mixed in. And so I feel
Mhm.
like I was in my intense period of life with the Brandon Sandersons and the things, and
Mhm.
I wasn't there for that. But I think in the wintertime I can slow down and I can attack When the Moon Hatched and Water Moon.
Oh, both of those were so very good. They would have to be one of my favorite reads from last year, you might as well say. Didn't we read them last year? Well, I read them last year. Water
No,
Moon,
I think Water Moon was this like February.
was it this week? I mean, this year?
I think it was this
Yeah,
year.
because summer. I don't know, but I did read it and I loved
It's
it.
been a long year already.
It has. I can't believe we're already almost to the end of the year. Whenever I read these books, I loved both of them. When the Moon Hatched, I really think you would enjoy it. Water Moon was just that cozy, comforting type of read for me. I love in the magic system and
I
When the Moon Hatched, Chef's Kiss. Fabulous.
Oh, you know what? Hey, you read that, and that's about dragons.
Yeah, that is about dragons. That's
Yeah,
definitely
you do
about
have a
dragons. Yeah, I
yeah,
forgot
it's
that
all
was
about
about
dragons.
dragons. That was a good.
Is it heavy on the romance? It is considered a romantasy, but how are we, we've got the Rachel Gillig fantasy romance kind of balance, which I think is more heavy on the fantasy, and then you have like Fourth Wing, which I think is very heavy on the romance.
I would say this one is not very romance heavy, but it is definitely a part of the storyline. Like, I'm not saying it's Kingfisher, Quicksilver type of romantasy, because that book was a wild one. I did not finish that one, by the way.
Oh my god.
But I think when the moon hatched, it's necessary for the story to really understand the story, and the love in it is very, very strong. So definitely not Quicksilver or Fourth Wing, but it
Okay.
is there, and it is definitely a huge part of the story.
Okay. I trust you because we both have an aversion to smut. We don't
I
love
was gonna
smut.
say it's definitely not smut.
So, and again, I'm not a prude. I can handle some
Hmm.
love scenes. It's just I don't want them to be every fourth page. That's just who is
Yeah,
that doing
and
anything for?
this is not like that at all with the moon, when the moon hatched. It's there, but it's necessary to understand the story. So I know you'll love
Okay,
it.
good.
I can't wait for you to read it. I might read it with you again.
Look, we tend to overload ourselves with books
Hmm.
because we're mood readers. We don't always stick to a regimented reading list. We kind of have
Hmm.
hopefuls, and these are what these are. I hope to get some of these books. Now, I might come back here and every horror book that I listed, I don't touch, and I read 10 other horror books. Like
Hmm.
that's very possible with me.
Absolutely.
But our vibes remain true. We know what we want. We know what we want to return to. We've had hectic summers, hectic
Hmm.
lives. We're looking to get into that comfort zone for us. And for me, I like to be spooky.
Hmm.
I was talking to Emily the other day and going, man, I really kind of want to watch, not that this is spooky, it's Hocus
Hmm.
Pocus, but I
Oh, I
love
love Hocus
my
Pocus.
my Halloween comfort movies. And then we've got our slashers. My sister comes over. We didn't do it last year, but the year before, my sister came over, and we have all of her kids love horror movies.
Hmm.
And we have a horror movie thon at my house, and the younger kids go play upstairs or whatever.
Hmm.
And we watch like two or three movies that we hadn't had a chance to watch. And actually, last year we did it later in the year, but we did do it at my parents, and we
Hmm.
watched some thrillers that we didn't get a chance to watch, and like we had a blast. I can't
That's
wait to get back
awesome.
into that mode.
That's awesome. It's definitely something when fall does come because you really can just spend more time with your family, whether it's eating or watching movies or reading stuff together. It's definitely always a good time. So I'm ready for fall. I'm all about it.
Oh yeah, Emily's already in baking season. Like she baked pumpkin squares last night, and
Oh,
she's
that's so
been
great.
aging. We're stocking up on sugar and flour and all the things for her
All the
to make
things.
all the treats all winter long. Like this
Oh,
is my
that's so
hibernation.
great. That's so great. I have to, make sure you put some aside for.
Yes, when we get back to filming in person, I'll make sure I bring treats.
Oh, I would love that. That'll be great.
Well, we survived another episode. I like these kind of themed episodes where we just sit and
Hmm.
chat for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, kind of let everybody know about our next episode. We're going to do some back to school reads with some dark academia and campus novels, just to kind of give you a little bit of what we got planned for next episode.
Yeah, we're going to try and stick with little bits of themes and books that we kind of talk about, and maybe it'll be new books coming out. Maybe it'll be books that are backlisted that you can go pick up now. So look
Absolutely.
forward to more episodes like this, not just us spouting about the books we read, but
More stuff to give you more of a bookish buzz, Get more buzzed up.
absolutely. We do need to get a little buzzier.
We'll get there. We're working on it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. And we're going to have another episode coming out in a couple weeks. So we'll see you then. Until next time,
Happy reading.
happy reading. Take care.